Are you a baseball player that's been constantly experiencing low back pain, especially on your dominant side with your pitching and or hitting motion? Then this video is for you. We're gonna fix this in 3 quick, easy steps, so check this out. So first, let's discuss why we're getting pain in this area. Typically in baseball players, if you're lacking hip mobility on your dominant side, so if you're a right-handed hitter, right hip, left-handed hitter, left hip, if you don't have good mobility side to side here into internal rotation especially, we're gonna have to dip a little bit more, and that's gonna put some pressure into the low back, upper hip area. So our primary target for freeing up the low back pain here, reducing stress in this area, is gonna start first with hip mobility. The first position that I like to start with addressing is gonna be hip internal rotation of the dominant side. A great setup that's gonna help fix this pretty quickly, and sometimes this is the only drill you need, is 90-90 hip internal rotation pails and rails. The setup for this is pretty simple. So we're gonna wanna be 90-90, back leg to this position, front leg out in front, and then we're gonna take our dominant side hand, right side for righty hitters, try to reach for the ankle here, and then left side hand onto the shin here. If this already feels tight and pinchy, some people have to start facing forward for pails and rails. That's totally okay. But if you can and you're comfortable, we'll go ahead and start a rotation here. Pails and rails are pretty simple and they're gonna work for a variety of joints, but the simple thing to remember is first we have a passive stretch component. Typically I like to hold this stretch for 1, maybe 2 minutes, and I'm just hanging out here, trying to relax, deep inhale, deep exhale each time, and just really get acquainted with this position. That's going to be our first action in our pails and rails. Second, our pails contraction is going to be force into the ground. These are isometrics, remember, so if you're at in range, you're not going to see a ton of motion. It's more about driving intent. So I want to picture that I have a big weight scale under my leg here. I'm holding this position 2 minutes. Then I start pails contraction by squeezing force into the ground. I should feel a good squeeze from outer glute pushing down and my adductor trying to drive into the floor. So I'm going to squeeze into the ground for a 20-second pails contraction. Start something light like a 50% effort, and then by the end of the 20 seconds, we should really be ramped up and going all the way to 100% effort. Now the other key to this is don't break position once you get through your pails contraction. Keep in this spot and then immediately go into your rails contraction. Rails contraction, opposite force. So I'm thinking, again, isometric. If I'm at in range, I shouldn't be able to just flip my foot off. If I'm here and locked in, pails down into the ground, rails away from the ground, think rotate up. I take my outer hip like I'm trying to just throw my foot towards the ceiling. I keep the range locked. I'm driving force up away from the ground for 15 seconds. So recap, 1 to 2 minute hold, passive stretch, deep inhale, deep exhale, relax into the position. Pails contraction, force into the ground like you're adding weight to a scale. Go for a 20-second and then ramp up force, start like 50%, get comfortable, and then really start driving. You really need a big contraction to get the changes in the capsule that we're looking for. Then opposite force, rails contraction, think force away from the ground. If you're at in range, your foot shouldn't come off the ground. It should just be an isometric. You might feel a little hip cramp there. That's how you know you're really driving force. And then after that, you can repeat it for a second round immediately and go back into the passive stretch, then pails, then rails. Or if it's new, maybe just go 1 round for the first time and then rest after that. Drill number 2 is a bar-assisted hip airplane. So again, we're going to be starting with our dominant side, righty for right-handed hitter. If you're lefty, obviously do the opposite. Our setup is going to look like this. First, find a post, a wall, something stable. Then you're going to want a little bit of a lean. I'm going to go ahead and actually do this for the left side just so you can see it a little bit easier from this angle. And you want to go like single leg RDL position here, a little bow at the chest. This leg is going to be extended, and this is my driving hip here. So airplane, I'm going to rock down, create tension outer glute, and then rotate back up. So I really just want to work tension points, driving with this here, and then I can create more tension with my opposite side leg by really squeezing down into the ground more, using this knee to drive force, and then pushing up and away. And then I just rotate about the joint there. On these, I would hit both sides because you want to clear up both side hips, but I would probably start with your dominant side first, your righty hitter, right leg, then hit the left side after. All right, so third and final drill for this series, I like to use a internal rotation biased cable rotation. So I'll be using my Voltra. You can use a standard cable column, band, doesn't really matter. You just need something with a tension point out to the side of you. Go back to that 90-90 position that we started in. So dominant side leg will be in the back position, non-dominant side leg will be in the front position. And then from there, you just want to start. Cable should be pretty moderate tension. It shouldn't be just extremely heavy. Drive force into the ground with the right knee, really squeeze down, rotate to dead center, and then rotate back over the leg. So you need just enough force to get this to kind of rotate about, just so you're back over this side. If that feels pretty good from a mobility standpoint, the further you work out away from the cable, the more that we can get almost a lean into a stretch. So remember though, keep tension through this leg and then let the cable work you out and over. I would start a little closer at first, just so you can kind of warm up the hip and get used to the position. And then the further you slide away, the deeper the stretch. So I hope these demos were helpful. This is by no means an exhaustive list. There's 47 different things I could think of that would help address this issue. But these are the 3 in sequence: hip pails and rails, into a hip airplane, into an overloaded internal rotation position, that I find have the highest success rate and the quickest. So with all things mobility, if it's something you're really struggling with, you're gonna have to do these type of things routinely. You can't just do this once in a blue moon and think you're done. Maybe add this into your routine 4 to 5 days a week as a warm up. And I really wanted this list to be just something quick, short, sweet. One set of pails and rails is gonna take you 2.5 minutes. Couple sets of hip airplanes, that's gonna be another 2 minutes. And then you hit this rotation. You can use a band at the field, cable machine, wherever it is, you can adapt it, and that's another 2 minutes. So this is a 5-minute routine to help clear up that low back pinch point, and then that's gonna help you start being able to rotate better around your backside, get through the ball more. And also, if you're a pitcher and you're having similar issues rotationally pitching, you can use this for this too. It's good for baseball, it's good for rotation in general. You really need this dominant side leg to be able to drive an internal rotation and have as much capsular space there as possible to get yourself in a good position to allow the upper half, the obliques, and all the power muscles there to deliver rotational force. So hope this helps. Drop a comment if you have any questions. Hopefully these demos are pretty clean and easy to see. On the pails and rails, you might need to look up some further demos. It's kind of a complicated concept, but once you figure out the tension and what you need to do from those, they're magic for all joints. They work on pretty much everything. So thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you guys again soon.